Disclaimer: this is not a real advertisement, just a project for a college class. It is meant to emulate the ads that typical YouTube influencers create when they are sponsored by a product. This should by no means be taken seriously, and the deals offered at the end are not legit. However, the knowledge I present is very legit. Enjoy! Are you ready to transform your health forever? Are you ready to become pain-free? Do you want to be part of the concept that is revolutionizing and disrupting footwear as we know it? Well, enter barefoot shoes. If you haven't heard of them already, barefoot shoes exhibit the following characteristics. The first one being flexibility, which allows your feet to move freely and engage with the ground naturally like they are meant to do. And this keeps your foot muscles mobile, which we'll get into. Then you have the concept of a thin sole, and we'll get into how modern footwear is basically like a band-aid on the foot. It does not allow it to actually use the muscles that we've been given. And this is a thin sole, which allows for better ground connection. And then we got the minimal or zero heel, and this is unlike basically all footwear that you see. It puts the feet in a neutral position, which will support healthy posture and put less stress on specific joints, which may be why you have certain pains, which we will get into. Finally, the last characteristic is a wide toe box. Now, most may think it's natural for the stylish, I guess you could say, skinny toe that a lot of these shoes exhibit today. But these kind of barefoot shoes allow for the toes to not be unnaturally squished in, which leads to better balance and stronger feet overall. So first, everyone likes science. We're going to get into some science here. An actual study was done on barefoot running and barefoot shoes versus the common shoes that we see today. And I'm not going to get into all this, but basically I'm going to summarize here that, and when we're talking about shod runners, we're talking about people that are wearing the, overly protective footwear for support, like the Nikes and stuff like that. So in the study, Daniel Lieberman found that shod runners, they are more tending to heel strike because our padding is more towards the heel. And really, when you're running, you do not want to heel strike. When in contrast, barefoot runners who strike on the forefoot or the middle of the foot, they tend to generate smaller collision forces on their body, which will help to decrease their pain overall. And forefoot and midfoot strike gaits, which is basically where your foot lands when you run, were more common when humans ran barefoot or in minimal shoes and may protect the feet and lower limbs from some of the impact-related injuries now experienced by a high percentage of runners. One thing you got to understand is that these shoes that are being sold today, they sell the concept of protection and health, right? But in reality, this is a falsity, and we'll get more into this. Now, an article from Malvern East Physiotherapy, and I like this little graphic right here, which kind of tells you what modern footwear is doing, and this article focuses more on women and heel wearing, which is the probably worst thing you can do. But these changes occur to some extent in everyone because we're all wearing shoes with some kind of heel. And I'm just going to highlight here. Additionally, heels also change the weight distribution around the hips and knees, with some studies indicating that heels can increase the pressure around the knee by 26%, resulting in degeneration or pain around the kneecap or knee joint. This is why knee pain is common, and you can see the misalignment here with the back pain as well. It's all connected. And then finally, the increased force and pressure of body weight on the forefoot can lead to conditions including hammer toes, bunions, which are really common. Don't know what that is, and calluses. So women with your heels, I know you want to be stylish, but it's really not the best thing for your feet. Moving on, going into the negatives of modern footwear. I love this graphic right here. We're going to get into some videos that can explain this way better than I can. And I apologize, they're from Instagram, so just ignore the comments and stuff around them. But these are where I found the videos.
The big question is whether feet need support, and there is no evidence that your foot needs any support whatsoever.
Most modern shoes are rigid, pretty heavy, do not follow the shape of your own foot. Well, you don't really have a good feeling with the surface you're walking.
When you look at shod populations, you start to see a change in shape of their foot.
The advances in technology has simply interfered rather than helped the foot.
So that was a pretty good explanation right there. Now we're going to get into another video that talks about kind of the same thing.
Quite fit. A normal foot shape today is not our natural foot shape. Shoes have distorted our feet in the name of fashion. Feet were made to feel. Shoes have made them numb. Maximalist design fighting the foot's minimalist needs. The short-term comfort of foam and air is having a long-term effect on our health. If feet cannot feel, feet cannot function, and we cannot move. The last thing the shoe industry thinks about is your feet. We must uncover this shoespiracy, reclaim our feet, reinstate our health, reconnect with what makes us human. Think feet first.
So that was kind of dramatic, but I mean, you get the point. Modern footwear has basically distorted our feet and has led to the unnatural pains that we get. So yeah, they said it pretty well. Let's get more into it. So first let's talk about misalignment, and I think we touched on it a little bit earlier. But you can see when you're standing flat foot, your body is in complete alignment, and when you start to add that heel, no matter what the elevation, the back is misaligned. The neck is misaligned, something you wouldn't think about, and obviously your ankles are misaligned too. And like I said, it's all connected. It's going to put pressure on your knees and your back that really shouldn't be there. Your feet should be absorbing some of that pressure, and that's when your pains come in. Talking more on heel elevation, raising the heel above the ball of the foot can lead to Achilles tendonitis, which is not great, hammer toes, neuromas, capsulitis, back pain, and ankle instability. A completely flat heel distributes body weight evenly without stressing the toes, ankles, knees, and back. And that's where barefoot shoes come in greatly. So, like I said before, and like the videos talked about, our feet are strong. Our feet are meant to move, and they're meant to be operated at their largest capacity. One foot alone contains 26 bones, 33 joints, 1 to 7 ligaments, 19 muscles, and over 200,000 nerve endings. Feet are one of the most complex and sophisticated structures in our bodies. They must be given the ability to walk naturally, which is what footwear of today does not do. And I think this is kind of maybe over-exaggerating it, but in reality, your foot does kind of have a core similar to your abs that you can strengthen up and will completely change your body and completely change your life. And barefoot shoes are the first step to making that change. So let's get into another video here.
The feet are comprised partly of 100 stabilizing muscles and 105 sensors, which work together to detect the ground and maintain a stable arch during walking, running, and every other athletic movement. Unfortunately, modern footwear, with their arch support and thick soles, blunt the foot sensors. As a result, the internal musculature are no longer stimulated to maintain an arch, causing them to become lazy and weak. Flat feet and overpronation are signs of this dysfunction. We could compare the function of the foot's bony structures to that of the spine and its surrounding musculature, like the core meant to stabilize it. Continuing this thought, the ankles then act as the hips, meant to hinge and generate the moving forces. Just like we shouldn't rely on a weightlifting belt to always stabilize the spine, so we shouldn't rely on modern footwear or inner soles to stabilize our feet.
And there you go. Alright, next one, getting into more natural foot strength, argument against arch support. This really speaks for itself, and it's been talked about a lot. Arch support is basically like a band-aid on your feet that covers the problems instead of, ideally, you'd want to attack your problems and strengthen the feet. And so we see the artificial arch support weakens the muscles, you're more prone to injury, and then the misalignment, and that leads to negative effects on athletic performance and endurance as well. And this nice little graphic here shows the difference in your feet between the barefoot shoe here and the common Nike shoe here, and you see that big arch. That's a no-go. Getting back to the toe box, we see that the dress shoe is a great example of this. They get really skinny at that toe box. Your feet should be like this. Your feet need to be in the green here. They need to be able to spread, and modern footwear does not allow it to do that. Getting more into the women as well. You guys are affected obviously just as much, if not more. Regular foot shape, foot seen as from shoe designers. Foot seen by shoe designers. Dang, I can't talk. And there's an example there. There's a nice wide toe box, and there is a skinny toe box, and there is a bunion waiting to happen. So I've spat you some knowledge there. Now we're going to get into my recommendation for a great barefoot shoe brand, and that is Vivo Barefoot. In my opinion, Vivo Barefoot is way ahead of the pack, and this is a new market. Vivo Barefoot is way ahead of the pack in terms of barefoot shoe offerings. You can see many people, when they think of barefoot shoes, they probably think they look like, I don't know, water shoes or something like that, but these are legit looking shoes. They're stylish. You'd actually want to wear these out in public. You even got the Oxford men's shoe, and on the women's side they have great options as well. And in conjunction with Vivo Barefoot, promotional offer, ding 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 ding. So to get your promotional offer, use the link in the video description below, and you will get 30% off your first purchase, and that is going to be huge. It's going to be a nice introduction for you to get into the barefoot shoe gang at a lower price. And then when you're on there, you can sign up for their emails and whatnot, and then you get 15% off of your second purchase, so it's really a win-win for you. Upgrade your health. Change your life now. Make the change now. It starts with your footwear. It starts with the bottom of your feet. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something.